And you can try decorating these sides before you attach them, so you're not decorating them, you know, upright. I don't like how that line looked, so I'm going to pull that one off again. Do that one again. So you can try decorating your side pieces while they're still flat. I don't have as much luck with that because I kind of mess things up while I'm trying to build them. And this, while it hardens and it's on here, once it hardens, it will flake off. It will chip off. Especially, these lines may not, but stuff like these stars, because they're bigger, they could end up just chipping off. So you may want to build it, and you may want to decorate it and then build it and then just repair. That's up to you. You know, it's however you want to do it. I personally like to get it all built and then start my decorating, because you have to do the edges anyways when you build it. You have to finish those off. And so I never know if my edges, like if I had had one of these here, my edge would have covered it anyways. If I'd had one of these stars on the end of this, like I have on these spots, my border would have covered that up. So why put that on there if it's not going to be seen? So I always like to decorate them once I've got them all built, because then I know exactly what I'm working with, as opposed to, but again, like I said, if you're doing a really detailed one where it's, you know, maybe a whole scene and you want to completely decorate it out, you can do that. And you don't have to have it be enclosed. You could take a board and do just a straight, beautiful piece of gingerbread that is a whole scene, and just put a candle behind it. It doesn't have to be 360 degrees. It could be just one-sided, and you could put it on a table that is against a wall and just have a candle or two flickering behind a beautiful scene. It doesn't have to be completely enclosed.
Very cool. And somebody suggested, would it, or I had a question, would it still bake up okay if they had a whole bunch of little tiny holes in the gingerbread?
The tiny holes, you can put the tiny holes in, but the tiny holes are going to fill while you're baking, because the gingerbread spreads. So what you could do is, once it's getting cooling, you could take like maybe a tip, a number 12 tip or a number 8 tip circular, and cut those holes out of the gingerbread while it's still soft. The thing you have to watch out for, and you can see on here, is sometimes when you're trimming it, you get these cracks on here. So you might end up, if you try to put a bunch of little holes in here, you might end up with a bunch of little cracks all around it, which may be all right. If you just want holes where light comes through and it doesn't have candy in it, you could then maybe surround them with royal and cover the little cracks that you have going. The longer you let these cool before you actually trim them, the less of the cracks you get. But also, it's more difficult to trim it when it's completely cool, because you run the chance of breaking the whole cookie. So it's kind of a fine line of cutting it while it's cool enough not to crack too much, but also not so cool that the whole cookie chances breaking.
And would you recommend making extra walls, perhaps?
I always do a couple of extra.
Yeah.
Because if you never know if you're going to lift it up, if it's going to break. You never know if, like you saw this one, I ended up trimming that one little piece. If I had trimmed that and it had split all the way down, I would be out of luck, because I wouldn't have any extra walls. So I always make a couple of extra walls. And also things happen, like you can see on this one, the red, when I laid my template down, to trim it, the template touched the red and the green because it was still a little bubbly. And when I lifted it up, it made strands of melted candy on them. So here it kind of burned the gingerbread, and here you can see the red on the gingerbread. So I wouldn't use these. My kids would actually probably eat these because they can eat them. And but I wouldn't use this one because I don't like how it looks. I don't like how this edge and this,
Gotcha.
part looks. So I wouldn't use that one.
Okay.
So it's always good to make a couple of extras.
Okay. They're also mentioning online that there's a way that I guess you can also do it with a certain sugar cookie dough.
You can do it with
Works.
sugar cookies as well. It doesn't
As long as
have to
you-
be gingerbread cookies.
Yeah.
If these are just like regular sugar cookie, sugar cookies, you can do the same thing. I like the gingerbread because when you put the candle in it, days, weeks later, if I'm going to keep this one and I'm going to use it for the holidays. So when I light this on Christmas Eve and put a candle in here, it heats up the gingerbread and you can actually smell the gingerbread. Your house starts to smell like gingerbread's baking, which is just lovely. So I like to use the gingerbread because it gives it that nice gingerbread smell during the holidays. But you can do it anytime. You can do, if you want to do an Easter luminary and do it with sugar cookie, it doesn't have to be gingerbread. You can use any hard, dough cookie dough to do this.
Excellent. I want to finish up one more panel and let's show them what it looks like with a candle in it.
Okay,
Get that
let's
ready.
finish this up.